This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health. Dr. Joel Wallach. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Daily with Doc. Let's go ahead and open up that waiting room and let people in, as we do have a live audience. So if you're watching one of our streams and you would like to join us live in our Zoom room, you are more than welcome to by going to dailywithdoc.zoom.com. Again, that's dailywithdoc.zoom.com. My name is Becca Dukes, and I am excited to be able to be here with you and bring to you empowering information that allows you to be able to have the knowledge you need in order to make the best choices for you as an individual. Now, sometimes, we think common sense. Well, common sense is not common sense from one person to another. So I'm excited that we are able to bring this program to you, offering knowledge that you may not be hearing anywhere else. And if you haven't heard it, then you wouldn't say, oh, well, that is common sense. So let's get some more clarity going within your life as well. This program is being sponsored by dailywithdoc.com. We are a resource to an amazing community who loves on people, wants to see people be the best that they absolutely can be, both physically, mentally, emotionally, financially. And that's something that the founder of the company that we promote, he's just the founder. He no longer owns it. He doesn't make any money off the products, sales of the products. But he's an amazing author. He is a researcher. He is a world-renowned pathologist, world-renowned doctor of veterinary medicine, world-renowned naturopathic doctor who makes it legal for him to give advice to individuals, humans like you and I, whether it has to do with us, our children, our grandchildren, our siblings, and even our pets. So I am so super excited to have talking about the origins of the 90 essential nutrients, how he found and came up with them, and just go into some history as to why the 90 essential nutrients are so important for you and I to have optimal health. So folks, if you were invited by somebody specific, make sure that you get back with them. They cared enough about you to share this program with you. So care enough to thank them for sharing it and let them know you want to get started as well, or what is it that you need to, get your road on that journey to better health. So let me bring to the screen with me my dear mentor, my friend, a man who actually has been very instrumental in being part of my journey to better health. So if somebody could highlight Dr. Wallach, add him as a spotlight to the screen for me, please, that would be absolutely fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. Hello, Dr. Wallach. Welcome to Daily with Doc.
Hello, hello, hello to you and the team.
Yes. So, Dr. Wallach, I believe that people are blessed with gifts, whether we know it or not. And at a very young age, you just had the ability to be observant of what's going on in one scenario, what's going on in another scenario. And in your case, one scenario was you as a child with some issues where they were wanting to put you into a special home. But you were on a farm and you were able to look at another scenario, and that's the animals that you had a responsibility of taking care of each day. And they weren't having the same problems that you were having. And that's just the beginning of this path that you were put on into helping others find, obtain, maintain optimal health. Because that led you into going from an unruly child to being able to participate successfully in team sports and go to college and work in a pathology lab, work on teams, a team that was even responsible for saving the white rhino from extinction, and writing, which, Dr. Wallach, you have now written 25 books, and that doesn't include a bunch of publications that were submitted for peer review. I think you have 77 or 78 of them. And finding things like the cause of goiter, and that had to be part of a mass die-off of a herd of sheep. And then finding a non-human case of cystic fibrosis that was confirmed to be cystic fibrosis before you even told them it was not a human. And cystic fibrosis, Dr. Wallach, is supposed to be a human genetic disease. Well, they fired you whenever you told them it was not a human it's not species suspect. What's the word I'm looking for? So those biopsies came from a non-human entity, and it was a Ricci monkey at the Yerkes Primate Center. And for those of you who don't know what the Yerkes Primate Center is that's where they raised monkeys for NASA and a lot of what they did. So when you got fired, Dr. Wallach, that didn't stop you. You started teaching nutrition at a naturopathic college in Oregon. And since you were teaching, you figured, why not be one? And that is kind of where it has brought you to where we are today, because you saw the deficiencies, you connected dots, you had a team that created formulas, that when you implemented those formulas of the nutrition that you consider now the 90 essential nutrients, people just got better. So tell us, Dr. Wallach, and welcome to Daily with Doc. How is it that you came to find what is the 90 essential nutrients, and tell us what the 90 essential nutrients are?
Okay, well, thank you so very much for the kind history and the introduction, Becca. Thank you so much, and really a great job. And I've been blessed. And of course, one of the blessings that was left out, you did a great job. Only one piece was left out. That was scouting. I was an Eagle Scout. I was an Order of the Arrow. And in scouting, I had like 28 merit badges. And as a teenager, young teenager, 13, 14, 15, it taught me how to have a project, complete all the pieces necessary to complete the project, and get rewarded for it. You had a patch that you put on your
uniforms and your sashes.
Your sash, that's the sash. And I think I had like 25 different of these merit badges. And they had to do with diseases, with animals, with humans, with the environment, with politics, with money. They covered a lot of territory, and I'm only 9, 10, 12 years old, and I'm already learning things that they're just learning when they go to work at a bank or something like that. And I'm only 9, 10 years old. So that was a big project that helped an enormous amount, because the information that I learned in scouting was universal around the world. Okay. It's universal.
Yeah, the scouting program is an amazing program, and especially getting people out doing things that they may not do at home.
That is correct.
So it's creating a very well-rounded individual, giving them different experiences, which I think that the scouting program is fantastic, Dr. Wallach. So I'm
We'll give
glad
them
that
a
you
lot of
mentioned
credit.
that, because yeah, we don't want to miss that part.
Okay, then also my dad was a world champion boxer, lightweight, and he would go to the gym every day. I'm only 3 or 4 years old, and I'm going to the gym with him, and have my little dumbbell, and I'm pushing a little 1 pound weight up and down, and I would follow him on the track and that kind of stuff. And I'm only a couple of years old. I'm 3 or 4 years old, and learning the discipline that a world champion has to have. Okay, so that taught me some things. All right, even if it was difficult, you just grit your teeth and you did it. There's no, well, it's too hard, I can't do it. No, there's none of that. You just get yourself out there and do it. Okay. And so between scouting and following my dad around, it was a lot of stuff. And then, of course, when I got into school, I began to learn more about scouting. Cub Scouts first, of course, and girls had the brownies and the boys had the Cub Scouts. And I've learned that if you had a pet, you were responsible for that pet. You're responsible for that dog and the cat and the goldfish and the canary and the snake and the worm or whatever it is, what you had as a critter in your house, your room, your garage, wherever it was. You were responsible for it. You couldn't let them go without water. You couldn't let them go without food. You couldn't let them be cold. You couldn't let them be hot, and so forth. So that responsibility at a very young age was very important. And then you get into school and you start learning things. Even in kindergarten, you learn things about responsibilities of locking doors and that sort of thing. And so it's kind of a process as you get older and older and older. And it's one of those things where I began to read my mom and dad's, they had magazines, like Life magazine, Time magazine, that kind of stuff they'd have in the living room. And instead of looking at comic books, I was reading Time magazine and that sort of thing, and Life magazine and other magazines, the magazine for athletes and so forth. And I'm learning athlete information. I'm only 4 or 5 years old. Then we'd go to school, and I learned things in school, and they had little books at school that you would get. Okay, have to do with sanitation, wash your hands, that sort of thing, and be responsible for others as well as yourself. And so I learned those things at a very young age because of my family, having the farm, and we had these animals we were responsible for. We had to feed them, we had to water them, had to make sure they were safe, and the lions and tigers and bears weren't going to eat them, and that caused problems with our animals. And so there's one responsibility after another. As I got older and older, the number of responsibilities got more and more, what should I say, more critical when it came to the sciences and finances and so forth. So this didn't just happen overnight. This was a lifetime process. It's still going on. Okay. And it's one of those things where you say, well, what was it that caused me to learn about the 90 essential nutrients? Well, being a kid growing up on a farm with cattle and sheep and goats and pigs and chickens and turkeys and dogs and cats and that kind of stuff, cattle, we had all kinds of responsibilities to feed them, to water them, to protect them, to vaccinate them, and to keep the fences locked, and on and on and on. And so these are some of the responsibilities I learned when I'm, just like in kindergarten. Learned those things. So it was a great, great beginning. And I cannot thank my family and the team enough for what I learned in those early days. Now, the other thing I learned is if you're going to be an athlete, you have to do extraordinary things, because you're not just sitting at a desk with a pen writing a note or watching TV. You're putting your body to work, doing really extensive forces on your blood system, your immune system, your lymphocyte, your lymphatic system, your muscles, your bones, your joints, your heart, your lungs, your kidneys, your skin. All that stuff needed special care. And so I'm only 3, 4, 5, 6 years old. I'm learning those things from my dad, watching him and following his instructions. And so by the time I went into kindergarten, I knew more than the teachers knew when it came to personal care and personal health and so forth. And so I cannot thank them all enough for that. Of course, it got me interested in more and more and more and more. How come they know more than me? I kept trying to catch up with all the ones who were very capable and very well trained and so forth. And then, so I wanted to be a professional at this. So I said, okay, I'm going to be an animal doctor. I'm going to be an animal doctor. There's a lot of things that happened between that time when I was a little kid and going to school. You know, was in my grades, first grade, second grade, third grade, all the way up into high school. And you know, going to the library when instead of just hanging out with a bunch of guys outside smoking and all that kind of stuff, I'd go to the library and I'd read the journals for veterinary medicine. I'd read the journals for farmers. I read the journals for doctors. And I'm only 6, 7, 8, 9 years old, and I'm in the library reading those things, getting that information. So it didn't just start, you know, when I was in college. It started when I was a very young age. And the more I read, the more I got interested. Now, how did I find out about these 90? Well, I'm reading all these things, and why did people die in their 20s and 30s? You know, some people live to be 120. The land flowing with milk and honey. We learned that in church. Okay. Well, how were they chosen? How did God choose them to live to be 120? And everybody else is dying in their 20s and 30s and 40s at that time, 2,000 years ago. Well, it was because they lived in special places. Now, they didn't know why, but they lived in special places that was getting overflow from the mountains and the creeks and the rivers. And this is why it was called the land flowing with milk and honey. Now, they had relatives who were eating the same exact recipes that they were eating. And the relatives were dying in their 20s and 30s and 40s, and these people were living to be 120. They're all eating the same recipe. How could that be? Well, plants do not make minerals. They'll take it, the minerals are in the soil. And the glacial milk, it wasn't cow's milk, the land flowing with milk and honey. Their observations were correct, but they missed where that milk was coming from. It was glacial milk. The glaciers up on top of the mountains were grinding up the rocks and lava and stuff. And the dust was white, like wood ash. And so it would come down the mountain in a stream. And that stream looked white, like milk, because of the white ashes in the stream. And half a mile away, 2 miles away, these farmers, these hunters are looking at the creek coming down the side of the mountains that looked like milk because of the ground up rock dust. It was glacial milk. Now, some glacial milk had 3 minerals in it. Some glacial milk had 5, some glacial milk had 10, some glacial milk had 15, some glacial milk had 25, some glacial milk had 30, some glacial milk had 40, some glacial milk had 50, some glacial milk had 75, some glacial milk had 100 minerals in it. And that's why you could be eating the same exact recipe that your twin brother or twin sister was eating, and they were like 40 miles away in a different location, eating the same recipe the grandma gave you. And they would die at 25, 30, 40, and you're going strong, and you live to be 100, 110, 120. What was wrong? Well, in their glacial milk, they only had 3 minerals. You had 90 minerals. Okay, and it took me until I was in agricultural school, studying soils and so forth, to figure that out. Okay, and everybody's just laughing and say, "Oh, that story has no value in it. Just that story about the land flowing with milk and honey." Oh, it was a great story. Okay, the Garden of Eden. Why was the Garden of Eden so plentiful of all the plants that it grew? Why did people who ate those plants live longer than people who ate similar plants 60 miles away? Well, the Garden of Eden was getting that glacial milk also. And people began to put their wood ashes and their coal ashes into their gardens as fertilizer. And the wood ashes and coal ashes had minerals in it. The plants would suck up the minerals. People would eat those plants sometimes to get 30 minerals, 25 minerals, sometimes 3 minerals. Okay. And then, of course, the ones who were getting 75 minerals and more, they were the ones who lived to be 100, 110, 120. The land flowing with milk and honey. Why honey? Well, because when you get all those minerals coming down into the valley, the flowers became more fluent, okay, more of them, okay, and they had more minerals in there. And the bees like that because they were able to make more honey, okay. And so when you had a land flowing with milk and honey, they didn't have the knowledge or the equipment to do analyses of the glacial milk coming down the mountains or the soil, okay, or the minerals that were in the wood ashes and coal ashes. They just knew that if they used them, it was a much better deal, okay. And over time, that became stronger and stronger and stronger. And then once I got into agricultural school, you know, I'm learning a lot more about the soils and how they analyze the soils and this, that, and the other. And one of the things that was very interesting for me about the soils, some soils had the minerals, okay, and we're talking, what should I say? We're talking minerals, okay, big time. And there was just like the neighboring farm didn't have the same creek coming down in there, and they weren't getting the same minerals they were getting from the mountains. And they were getting maybe 10 or 12 minerals, and you were getting 60 minerals. Okay, because of the anatomy of the farms in the mountains and this, that, and the other. And it was very, very interesting that that was taking place. Now, in the book, Hell's Kitchen, okay, this book goes back to 2002, it was published, 2002. Okay, so we're talking almost 25 years ago. The subtitle of Hell's Kitchen is the cause, prevention, and cure of obesity, diabetes, and metabolic syndrome. Now, somehow they recognized, there you go, they recognized there was something in these soils in some places or in other places. And you see that there's 6 human figures there in the book. The one on the extreme right as a classic for the metabolic syndrome, abdominal obesity, okay, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, all that kind of stuff. And these people only live to be 25 or 30 or 40 or 50, okay, because they were shorted of all these nutrients. Whereas the ones who were getting more minerals, they lived longer. They lived to be 75, 95, 105, 120. It still happens today. The people living in Hunza, okay, there's little villages that maybe have 40, 50 people in them, and they live to be 120 because they picked a place where the water's coming down from the mountains, has the glacial milk in it, and so they're getting all those minerals, and they live to be 120, 130. You get some of these people who are the Hunzas, same people, same families, they live maybe 50 miles away, and they're getting water that comes from a creek, not from the mountains. It may have 3 or 4 minerals in it, and they're putting just the creek minerals on their gardens, so they're only getting three minerals in their gardens, and that's why they only live to be 25 or 50 compared to their cousins or brothers or sisters or aunties and uncles who live to be 120 because they're getting the other minerals.
Doc,
yeah.
Now, you were talking about the different mineral contents from different streams. And that's one thing that I love about this book, Rare Earths, Forbidden Cures, is because you have analysis from different areas around the world that go through and looks at what the mineral content is of those different areas. And it just solidifies what you're saying. is that from region to region, from stream to stream, from field to field, the mineral content is not the same.
Okay, this is where
And that's what I love about this book.
yeah, well, this is why farmers came in, of course. That's one of my favorite books too. Rare Earths Forbidden Cures, Hell's Kitchen, Epigenetics. I'm one of the founding fathers of epigenetics. Epigenetics came in later. And of course, about the same time, we came up with a book, Dead Doctors Don't Lie, also. That's true.
I think Dead Doctors Don't Lie came first, Doc.
I'm sorry?
Dead Doctors Don't Lie came before the others.
Yes, that's
Because
true.
you wrote this back in the 1990s.
1999, that's correct, it was published. And of course, the CD, when they first came out, it says 40 million on the cover, but that didn't stop when the book was published. It kept going. So it's more like 50 million copies.
Well, mine says 350 million, and I have a more recent edition than the one that you have on your desk.
There you go, 350 million copies. Okay. And it's in the Smithsonian Institution as a national treasure.
Not that book. You've got a different one, Doc.
Oh.
Of course, it's a bit heavier too. This one.
These diseases of exotic animals. That represents like 30,000 autopsies of humans and 17,000 autopsies of animals. And this was a $21 million grant that was gotten by let's see here, he was the chief of the
National Institute of Health.
Marlon Perkins, and also the TV program, okay, the TV program. And I worked for him after school every day and on the weekends. I'm learning a lot. And he sent me to Africa for 2 years. I worked on the White Rhino Conservation Project. That's what I say.
I've got that book too, right here.
Well, there you go. Okay. There's a 2-year hunting event where I caught over 250 of them. And today there's
I got it.
Okay. Today there's over, I think it's like
16,000.
16,000 today. Thank you. And so because we captured over 200 of them, put them in wild animal parks, saved them. And these are the sort of things that we have done as a team. Okay. And of course, it's been enlightening to learn all this stuff. And what did we do for humanity? Well, one of the things we did was get in all these products. We have over, as you say, over 100 different products. Okay. One of my favorites is Rebound. We made this Rebound for Theo Ratliffe, who is a famous basketball player. And he went in for his annual physical and he was complaining about pain in his knees and his hip. And they did the usual x-rays and everything. He had bone-to-bone arthritis in his knees and his hips. They want to give him artificial joints and his career would be over. He said, no, I'm just going to retire. I will be a coach or something, but I'm not going to let you replace my joints. So when I heard that, I made a product for him. It was called the Healthy Bone and Joint Pack. It was our Healthy Start Pack, which had the 90 essential nutrients in it. But I also wanted something to rebuild the cartilage. So I made the glucogel. Okay, we didn't want to be doing bone broth in the house anymore because it stunk up the house. So we did glucogel. I'm the guy that came up with glucogel. And that was the raw material for your bones to make cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, and the skin and the joints and all that kind of stuff. Very proud of that. But then people would run out of steam when they're playing sports. And so that's why we came up with Rebound. And it's called Rebound because that's a basketball name. And of course, we got, let's see here, we got the thing going for Theo Ratliffe. And in 3 months' time, he came back. He got his position back. They're just all doctors scratching their head. I mean, you were done. Your joints are gone. And now you're back. Everything's grown back. And that's because he was using our Healthy Start Pack, our glucogel, and we made this for him.
So let's turn time back just a little bit, Dr. Wallach.
Okay.
Okay. So through your work as a pathologist, you have 3 postdoctorates in pathology.
That's correct.
where you were actually the pathologist that was looking at these specimen, whether that was animal or human. In fact, a big one is the work that you did in Qishan, China, where you had 1,700 children that had passed away under the age of 10. And when you did that pathology, what were you looking for?
Well, we were looking for anything. Why were these kids dying? Okay, when they're under 10 years of age, why were they dying? And they were dying of what the people in Qishan, China called Qishan disease, because the soil was deficient there in nutrients. So we got an analysis of the soil. We came up with a product for them. And in just a couple of months' time, we eliminated Qishan disease. There was no more new cases of Qishan disease because we came up with a supplement program for these kids in Qishan province that had all the minerals in there. Okay. And it's kind of like,
and Qishan, so
go
Dr.
ahead.
Wallach, Qishan disease is it cardiomyopathy?
Yeah, okay, cardiomyopathy.
Sudden
Okay.
infant crib death?
Sudden syndrome. Yeah. Okay. And one of those things where, of course, Dr. Mon was a great help with all that with the people and the customs and getting all the stuff she could get, because she was a very famous microsurgeon in China. And it's one of those things where rebound again we made for Theo, and Theo came back. Remember, he lost everything, lost his position, lost his insurance. I mean, he didn't have anything, but he got his job back. Well, when he got his job back, he played for another, it's like 12 years.
Yeah. And he made quite a bit of
100
money.
He made $100 million, $100 million in contracts because we rebuilt him just using vitamins and minerals.
So Dr. Wallach, why 90? Why not 60? Why not 120? How did you come up with 90? And what involves, or what is involved in that number 90?
Okay. Well, the number 90 is 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, 3 fatty acids.
Wait. Slow down. Say that one more time.
60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, 3 fatty acids. These
Okay.
4 categories of nutrients, okay, required to build and maintain and repair all your tissues. Okay. Now,
Say that part again. Those 90 essential nutrients are needed to
build,
build,
repair,
and maintain.
all your tissues. Okay, you just don't build a bone and just leave it alone and it goes for 100 years. Your bone has things that go away and come back based on what you're eating, what you're not eating. It's kind of like your car. If you don't put oil in that car and you're driving 100 miles an hour every day to and from work, how long is that going to go on if you don't keep oil in that car? Not very long. You're going to, the engine will burn up and the axles will burn up, and it's going to be a mess. Well, the same thing is true with creatures, whether it's a tree or an animal or a human being. We need stuff to maintain ourselves because we utilize these things to maintain our chest self. Okay, we utilize them. Now, when it comes to, let's see here, pick one. We're going to pick one. Which one we're going to pick?
Well, okay, so how about, are you thinking of poor health conditions? Is that what you wanted me to pick? Okay, let's talk about muscular dystrophy, because you had a major kind of epiphany in what was causing it.
Okay.
Implemented a program, and these children were able to recover.
Yeah, well, we ended muscular dystrophy because medical doctors were calling it a genetic disease. Okay. And in every country in the world, they had varying amounts depending on, and so that told me a story. There's if it's a genetic disease, it's going to be kind of at the same level everywhere. But when you're talking about something else, and so it's got to be something that you're eating. Well, when I was in college, a lot of my classmates had muscular dystrophy. Okay, muscular dystrophy, and they were getting pain medicine and that kind of stuff, and they would slowly get worse over time, and they would die in their 20s and 30s and 40s and so forth. And so it dawned on me that when you had cattle and sheep and pigs and that kind of stuff, they were being treated for white muscle disease. They weren't calling it muscular dystrophy, they're calling it white muscle disease. Instead of red like a steak is, okay, it's more like chicken flesh. Didn't have all the pieces it needed to be healthy red muscle, okay? And so I kind of did some homework on that and figured that out. We started giving these alfalfa pellets that they were giving the calves with white muscle disease, all these vitamins and minerals in it. It wasn't just alfalfa, but it was alfalfa that they would eat, but it had the vitamins and minerals in it. And I would give this to my classmates who had muscular dystrophy, and they're taking muscular dystrophy medication. I just don't stop taking medication, but take these for breakfast instead of eating Wheaties and oatmeal and stuff like that. You know, eat these alfalfa pellets with the vitamins and minerals in them, and put milk on them, and you eat them as a cereal. And in 2 to 4 to 6 weeks, they're getting cured. And they had been sick.
Oh, we're not going to say the word cure, Dr. Wallach, okay?
Well, they didn't have
I know
it.
you like that word, and I know you're a doctor.
They didn't have it anymore.
They didn't have it anymore.
We're giving God the credit for the cure, okay? Because this was, it jumped at me and said, oh my gosh, this is a simple nutritional deficiency. This isn't a genetic thing like doctors have been saying, because you can't rebuild something that's a genetic breakdown, you know, with vitamins and minerals. So there's got to be something different here. And so we're getting these kids who had muscular dystrophy, we give them the alfalfa pellets with vitamins and minerals in them. And we had about a dozen families in the Midwest. You know, we're talking about Kansas and Missouri and so forth. And I took our dear friend,
Marvin Ropp.
Well, Marvin Ropp, oh yeah, he was a big help because he was the one who knew all those areas and who had what disease and everything. He took me around. But then also, who was the famous guy?
Well, Jerry Lewis from the MDA.
Jerry Lewis. Yeah, Jerry's kids, right? Jerry's kids. And so we actually got Jerry in our car and took him to visit these families. I took Jerry Lewis to visit these families, and the doctors, we had the doctors there, and the doctors saying, we don't know why. The little Larry here, he had muscular dystrophy from the time he was 6 months old, and now he's 12. And in the last 3 months, his muscular dystrophy has gone away. He's perfectly normal now. And Jerry was so excited. Okay. We showed him 12 families in the Midwest that we had helped get rid of muscular dystrophy. And he was so excited. He went to a meeting. Okay. It's sort of like
the planning meeting for the next telethon.
Yeah, there you go. And he went to some, I think it was like, what, June 2011 or August?
August or September 2011.
Okay, August. Okay, August 2011. Okay, Jerry went there to tell the story that we had found the resolution of muscular dystrophy. They fired him instantly, put a gag order on him, a federal gag order on him, so he couldn't say anything to anybody. What a terrible thing. And then the next day, the Muscular Dystrophy Association canceled his telethon, which he'd been doing for 46 years and had raised $2.3 billion, with a B, $2.3 billion for their research. They shut that down. Okay. And Jerry was just mortified. So he worked with us as long as he could, and he just couldn't stand it anymore, seeing all this going by him, and he couldn't participate. So we would send him information and so forth. And when we were in the area, we'd stop by and see him and show him pictures of these kids who were getting better and everything. And he was just really, really happy that he had found us, or we had found him, or however it worked. And so that
It
tells the
turned
story.
out to be a nutritional deficiency, Dr. Wallach.
That's right. It turned out to be a simple nutritional deficiency. Okay. A vitamin and a mineral combination, a vitamin mineral combination. And I'm not going to say it because everybody will run out and just buy that vitamin and mineral. It won't be perfect because you need all these other ancillary pieces. You need the 90. Okay. And and then when it comes to the rest of the 90, you know, we're looking at one of my great findings. Okay. I found, in addition to all those things when we've already talked about, but I also found the story of what?
Well, Dr. Wallach, tell us about this,
Well, that's
where you
Klaus Schwarz
received
Award.
an award.
Yeah.
Yeah, Klaus Schwarz Award.
Yeah.
Which then deemed you as one of the founding fathers of the science of epigenetics.
That's correct.
And what is epigenetics, Doc?
Well, epigenetics replaces the science of genetics. Okay. Diseases can be familial, they can be regional, they can be based on your diet. Okay. And so this is what epigenetics stands for. And it was, I think, June, July, or August, something in there, of 2011. I received that award, which is very, very proud of that. And then there was other things. Okay, there were other things. Again, the thing, I went back up and talk about the disease that were in kids all around the world. Okay. And this was what should I say? I discovered the cause, prevention, and cure of it.
So Doc, you have been doing all of these autopsies,
Yes.
finding that when there was nutritional deficiencies, there were common diseases. You were connecting dots to the point that you were so confident in your findings that you and your attorney sued the FDA 8 times
In federal court.
and won, so that you could say these specific nutrients
Well,
were
here's why that happened. Here's why that happened. When I graduated college, I got a job at the Yerkes Primate Center in Atlanta, Georgia. Yerkes Primate Center. I wasn't there but a year, and I ran into the first non-human case of cystic fibrosis. One of those terrible.
That's right. We talked about that.
Yeah, one of the most terrible birth defects, okay, in human beings was cystic fibrosis. And right now, you know, there's 30,000 kids in North America with cystic fibrosis.
And
There's
they don't
70,000. There's 70,000 in the world. And that's because the doctors all over the world won't give them the vitamins and minerals. Oh, just eat well, you get everything you need. We can take these kids, put them on the nutrition program, get rid of all the bad stuff, and their cystic fibrosis goes away. It goes away. It's very simple nutritional deficiency disease. And so we're very, very proud of that. And it's one of those things, of course, that's in the book, Dead Doctors Don't Lie. And that's what made this CD, or the so valuable.
Yeah, the Doctors Don't Lie CD that has over 350 million, probably over 400 million now, Doc.
Yeah, and it's in the Smithsonian Institute as a national treasure.
No, the disease of the animals is in the Institute.
Yeah.
In the Smithsonian as a national treasure. So Dead Doctors Don't Lie. Dr. Wallach, you did the lecture. It is one of the most profound, most listened to lectures ever. And you can actually hear that lecture by going to DIYwithdocwallach.com or .org. One of them's a health evaluation. So if you want to do a health evaluation, going by the questions Dr. Wallach would ask you if you were in a sit-down consultation with them. You can go to DIYwithDoc.com. And if you'd like to listen to that lecture and also one of my favorite documentaries called The Audacity of Health, go to DIYwithDocWallach.org. And you have that information there. So again, if somebody shared this program with you, make sure if you reach out to them first. They cared enough about you. They are your point man or woman when it comes to getting what Dr. Wallach has found to be the 90 essential nutrients that are optimal for not only obtaining and maintaining, but our bodies are designed so that we can take U-turns, right? If we're on a bad path, we can make a U-turn by adding in intentional supplementation that is formulated to work within the body, which exactly is what you have done, and created the company Longevity that 27, 28 years ago, so that there could be a distribution of these nutrients that are so needed.
And so, Becca, I have seen this over the years thousands of times where people have been treated for a genetic disease, and we get them off all the bad foods, we get them on all the 90 essential nutrients, including more of that specific nutrients that's required to deal with that particular disease. Gone, cleared up. And usually in 2 to 4 weeks, you're seeing things happening. In 4 to 6 weeks, they're really happening. And usually 6 to 8 weeks, they don't have the problem anymore.
I had a phone call this morning, Dr. Wallach, from a woman who has diabetes, and she said, are there any bad side effects to these nutrients that she was taking? I'm like, no, there's no bad side effects. She said, well, then why did my blood sugar go down so much? I said, well, okay, what were you doing? We talked about how long she had been on the products, and she had taken the same dose of insulin that she normally does. And one thing that you say, one thing that pharmacist Ben says, is when your body is getting the nutrition it needs, it absorbs things better to the point where you don't need as much.
Yeah, and as your blood sugar goes down, you don't need as much as the medication.
And you have to work with your doctor to reduce that. And we have so many people, Dr. Wallach, where it's been able to reduce to nothing because they no longer have that poor health condition. So, Doc, we do have questions that are coming in. We have hands that are up. We only have,
12 minutes.
10 more minutes?
Yeah.
12 minutes. So let's go ahead and take some questions. The first one that I have here is, I'm young, but I never took vitamins seriously until you were introduced by Alex Jones. And that made his overall health better, more active, and requiring less sleep. So there's lots of people out on YouTube, it's showing, that have heard about you on these different podcasts, radio programs, TV programs, just like we're doing today on big scales, big platforms, Dr. Wallach. So I'm excited to be part of that and continuing this message. So thank you, everybody, for sharing with us your experience as well. Well, let's go to Kitty. Did you want to say something first, Doc?
Yeah, I want to say something first, if I may. The newest book is just not quite a month old. Okay, metabolic syndrome. Metabolic syndrome goes back 2,000 years. This is not something new. Okay, it has to do with obesity.
Put yours down so your voice isn't muffled. I got it.
Abdominal obesity. Okay, abdominal obesity. It also has the deficiency that causes type 2 diabetes. It also has the deficiency that causes high blood pressure and heart disease. And all those other diseases on the cover are sort of ancillary diseases that commonly go along with the metabolic syndrome. So we can take somebody who has all of that, and in 2 to 6 weeks, it's all gone. They're normal, because it's not a genetic thing. It's just simple nutritional deficiencies. And if you get rid of all that and you stay on the program, you can add 25 to 50 healthful years to your life. Why not spend 25 to 50 more healthful years with your family, your loved ones, doing the things you want to do? But you're going to have to get rid of the bad stuff. And again, this book walks you through it. There you go. Good food, bad food list. And then, of course, one last thing on the inside front cover, it goes into the international
the Institute of Holistic Health.
Yeah. And so you can become a member of that, and you can legally give health advice to people and get paid for it. Okay. And so we're so proud of this organization. And of course, Rebecca's one of the big hoo-has.
I'm just the director of student services, Dr. Wallach. Thank you for thinking so highly of me. You're awesome. You're one of the co-founders of it.
No, that's true. Okay, so we're very proud of that institution, and we want as many people as possible to get involved there, because you are going to help. This team helps millions of people every day around the world. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so this is just a picture of some of the first people that were part of the graduating class that were able to attend one of the retreats that has been held by the Institute of Holistic Health. And folks, if you would like to get more information about becoming a certified holistic health coach, go to the website www.coachwithdoc.com, and you'll get more information about that as well. Or my team, they know quite a bit about it, because each and every one of them have gone through the program and are certified holistic health coaches. You can reach them at 855-949-3377. Again, 855-949-3377. But again, if somebody's shared this program with you, get back with them. They might be associated with the Institute as well. And if they're not, then go ahead and give us a call. So, Doc, are you ready for a question now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, Kitty, go ahead and unmute. What question do you have for Dr. Wallach today? Kitty, can you unmute? I see your hand. No? Okay, let's go on over to TC. TC, go ahead and unmute yourself. What question do you have for Doc today? Or a report, maybe?
I have a question about I-26. Am I to understand that that is a powdered egg from a chicken that's been vaccinated with antibiotics?
Absolutely, so positively no.
Well, no, Doc, let me share. So it has been immunized with specific things to help your body get rid of pathogens.
Okay.
Okay, so we can get more information about that as well.
Yeah, let me interrupt there. The I-26 was designed to rebuild the white matter of your brain and spinal cord. All these diseases, there's about 40 different diseases that are caused by a loss of the white matter of the brain and spinal cord. Everything from being crazy to losing your memory, okay, to Parkinson's disease. We're amongst the first ones to actually get rid of Parkinson's disease. We know how to get rid of Parkinson's disease, which is the loss of the white matter of the brain and spinal cord. We have Madeline, okay? She was being treated for, I don't know,
11 years.
11 years, treated for 11 years for Parkinson's disease. The doctors told her, you're at the end of your line here, get everything ready, because you only got days or weeks to live. And she had somebody in her family who's a member of Longevity called me, says, anything we can do for her? So I said, yeah. Told him what to do for her. Got her on the 90 essential nutrients, healthy brain and heart pack, the I-26. And in 2.5 months, she was totally free of Parkinson's disease that she'd been going downhill with for 11 years.
And synaptive. Forget synaptive, Doc.
But is I-26, is it antibiotics that we are putting in our body?
No.
Is that?
No.
No.
That's what I was trying to wrap my head around. If this is.
No, it's the raw materials. Just like you take calcium as a raw material for your bones. Okay. This I-26 is a raw material for the white matter of your brain and spinal cord. Can you name me some other thing that the doctor will give you to help you with your brain and spinal cord white matter. No, doctors just say, well, you lost their mind. You just got to wait and the end's coming. They don't know what to do. Okay. And so this is why we jumped in with the I-26. I like the French vanilla chewables. They also come in banana coconut chewables, which is our best seller. And then, of course, it also comes in powder and capsules. We also have one for dogs and cats, don't we, Becca? Don't we have I-26?
Yeah, so we have the I-26 dog companion. That has more than just the hyper egg immune powder in it. It actually has nutrients that help support healthy bones and joints and overall health for the pets. So the I-26 dog companion. But Dr. Wallach, the I-26 was also designed to help with the digestive system and overcome some things that a lot of digestive products were not able to tackle. So, and that includes helping for better absorption of the other nutrients that are taken.
There you go.
So it's an amazing product.
I did get I-26. I tried it. It kind of made me feel strange, and it gave me some asthma. And I know it says on the package if you have egg allergy that you shouldn't use it. I eat 3 eggs every morning, but maybe the extra egg powder, gives me asthma.
Make sure that you're not taking it at the same time or within an hour or 2 hours of having your eggs.
No, I eat the eggs
because there are antibodies in each of them that will cancel each other out.
I ate the eggs in the morning, but then I took the I-26 later in the day, and it was giving me asthma.
Yeah, it should be about at least 2 hours later. Yeah.
What I do is I do eat yogurt with active cultures, and I put turmeric and ginger in my food, so that's good for killing pathogens, but it nourishes good bacteria.
Yeah, but they're not going to give you the same effect that the I-26 does. That's a totally different thing. It's just like saying, I don't need to put oil in my car. I have antifreeze in my radiator. It's a silly statement.
Okay.
Well, and there's different forms of the I-26, so maybe one of the different other forms may be a better fit for you, TC. Well, Dr. Wallach, we've got 3 more minutes. Let's go ahead and go to one more question. And Marilyn, what question do you have today?
Okay. I was wondering, some people say that their kidneys become hardened in parts. Can you tell me the reason that would occur?
Well, kidneys are full of blood vessels. And when your blood vessels are unhappy in your body, your kidneys are one of the tissues that are most impacted. So you need to make sure you get rid of all the bad foods, no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no gluten, no wheat, butter, oats, no buckwheat, no sugar, no carbonated drinks, and all the bad foods and good foods are on the back cover of the book, Metabolic Syndrome. Okay, then.
So can I ask you, Dr. Wallach, one second? So when they don't get the nutrients, so is it part of the kidneys are dying or being destroyed?
Yes. And so what you need to do is take the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets, take 3 of those at breakfast and 3 at dinner time. If you weigh 100 pounds, if you weigh 150 pounds or more, take 3 at breakfast, 3 at lunch, 3 at dinner time. That's going to get blood flowing through even blocked arteries. People don't pay attention to their kidneys but your heart depends on your kidneys, your lungs depend on your kidneys, your brain depends on your kidneys, your bones depend on your kidneys. Your kidneys are extremely important, especially when it comes to blood pressure and blood flow and all this kind of stuff. So don't forget the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets. Don't forget the
Brain and Heart Pack.
Yeah, the Brain and Heart Pack is a good one. Covers a lot of territory. Healthy Brain and Heart Pack. Okay. And then let's see here. Again, we only got 1 minute left, and I'm going to end it by saying, please do remember 2 things right now. Hell's Kitchen, chapter 14, goes into the history of the metabolic syndrome. And then the book Metabolic Syndrome, it's not even a month old yet, this book, Metabolic Syndrome. And these 2 books will get rid of the metabolic syndrome. 53% of Americans, particularly males, have the metabolic syndrome. Okay. And this goes back 2,000 years ago. People were describing the symptoms you know, on their little clay
On their tablets, on their
clay
stone
tablets. Yeah,
tablets. and
they're writing on there
parchment paper,
about
Papyrus paper.
yeah, about metabolic syndrome. And they thought it was evil spirits. No, it wasn't evil spirits. It's just they didn't get enough nutrition.
Doc, we do have one question that I am seeing in the chat. Let's get an answer for this, okay? Paul, his wife had a massive stroke on the right side of her brain. She survived, but she can't walk or stand yet. Her left arm is it flaccid? And they'd like to know what is it that they can give her that's going to be beneficial. So let's say she's 125 pounds. She's experienced a stroke.
Okay, 125 pounds. She needs 1 healthy brain and heart pack per month. Take a half a dose of breakfast, half a dose of dinner. She needs 2 bottles a month of the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets. Take 3 at breakfast, 3 at dinner time. You're going to get the blood flowing through blocked arteries and veins and stuff like that. She needs the I-26. Okay, 2 doses a day minimum. I go with 3 doses a day. Okay, and again, we have the chewables, we have the capsules, we have the powder. I like the chewables. They're soft, almost like marshmallows. I like the French vanilla. Okay, but we do have the banana coconut. Okay, and so take that, and it can rebuild the brain and the spinal cord. We have seen catastrophic injuries to the brain and spinal cord to take the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack and also the I-26 and
the Ultimate Daily Classic and Synaptive, Dr. Wallach. That Synaptive has been so beneficial in
Synaptive, and what was the other one you said?
Synaptive. But one thing that I wanted to recommend or mention is this past weekend, they announced a new form and flavor of the I-26, Dr. Wallach, and that is the powder now comes in a vanilla flavor, and there's no sugar. I absolutely love that. I have been putting it into my tea. It also announced a new coffee made with mushrooms. It tastes like coffee, but I'm a tea drinker, not real fond of coffee, but I could actually drink this. And I added in our collagen creamer and it tasted fantastic. So our cup of life, it's Taza de Vida, I think is what cup of life is in Italian. And that is absolutely fantastic. So if you're a coffee drinker, you want a healthy coffee, make sure that you get a hold of the person that shared this program with you, or give our call a team if you're not working with somebody at 855-949-3377. Dr. Wallach, thank you so much for another great informational hour where you shared with us how you came up with the 90 and gave us some history behind that and why it's so important.
The 90 is everything. The 90 is everything. Okay, the good Lord made it that way, and if we follow his recipe, it's amazing what results we get.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Well, we couldn't do this program without our co-hosts. So if I could get our co-hosts on the screen with us right now, that would be fantastic. And, you know, bump it up to perfect. Thank you. Thank you. We got a new system going. It's going fantastic. I just want to give a huge shout out to our team because I could not do this without them. As we have Phyllis, who's out making sure that everything, you know, is going smoothly out on the different platforms. Thank you, Phyllis, putting information into the chat as well, letting people in. We have Albert that's helping to let people in and watching the cameras, making sure it's a safe place. We have Sherry doing the same. She's also part of our technical staff, making sure that everything gets set up correctly. We have Marilyn, who is doing the dictation, taking what is being shared, putting it into the chat. So folks, if you want to see what it is, because you can't write fast enough, you want to make sure you are in the Zoom here with us at dailywithdoc.zoom.com, Monday through Friday from 12 to 1 p.m. Pacific time, and see the great work that she does when she's not here. Phyllis is filling in, doing a great job with that as well. And we have Ruth Ellen, who is my executive production manager, who is keeping us all organized and on track and doing extra job today, which I greatly appreciate it. She did a fantastic job. Thank you, Ruth Ellen. And we have AJ, who has been very instrumental in putting all of this together and getting it broadcasted and live streamed out on so many different platforms. So thank you so much, AJ, for all that you've done as well. Folks, my name is Becca Dukes. I do this program because I benefited so greatly from Dr. Wallach's teachings. I joined in with the Institute of Holistic Health because I want to use my skills of teaching to help others know how to teach and share this man's message. Folks, if you even have a slight little bit within you of wanting to help people or even help yourself, then you definitely want to take action now. Get back with the person that shared this program with you. Nobody to thank. Call our call team at 855-949-3377. You can help yourself or even join our team so that you can make a greater impact in empowering and helping others find a better health journey. Again, my name is Becca Dukes. Thank you so much for investing this time in you, and we look forward to working with you. Until next time, bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Doc. Thank you.
Bye, everybody. Thank you, Becca.
This program is for educational purposes only. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences, and the individual results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health. Dr. Joel